Greetings YouTubers, this is Jace from Marshall Made Collectibles. Today we are doing a review on ACI Toys International, one of their new figures that came out. This is part of their Warrior Total Rome. This is the Roman Centurion. And actually the way he comes, they released him and he's limited to 1,500 pieces. And he's going to come in two versions. One version he's going to have like a red plume, and I'll show you a picture on the back of what he would look like. And then you're going to have this version that has the black and white plume, and there's some different color choices that I'll hit when I come to it. And this would be the Primus Pilus version. And I don't know what the differences are on like the numbers that they produced. I know Brian had made a mention that there was only going to be 1,500 worldwide, and it's basically like an A and B version, which ACI has been doing now for a lot of their Roman figures. They'll put out different versions. Like there was different versions of like the Roman Legionnaire, and they even have a Greek Hoplite coming out, and he is going to have some different color choices, which the different versions have different touches on the armor or different colors like that. So let's go on with this review, because this is on the Roman Centurion. One of the things that you will notice on him once we get him out, his face sculpt has a slight look of like Jason Statham. A lot of times they've sculpted the heads on their figures to look like different actors. Anyway, on the front we have a really nice version of version A, and we have him standing here. There's some cut slashes on the front of the box, and these boxes are they're going back to like their thicker magnetic version ones. You have the Warrior Total Rome Roman Centurion and a nice little crest here. You have the ACI logo. When you turn it onto the side, you have like a red, almost overcast picture. You have a picture of the Roman Centurion there. On the back, you can see the two different versions. And there is version B, and the main difference between these two are, when you look at them, the B version, he has more of a purple cape, while the Primus version has black. The medallions that are on the tunic here are more of a bronze brass color, where they were silver on this, and also the shield color. The shield on him matches his plume almost. It has a red background, where the shield on the version A, or the Primus version, he has more of a black on that. And again, the plumes are different color. And then so you see a picture of that. You see like the Roman runes in the background, and then everything that comes with the figure. And that the type of body that they used on this one is their medium build Christian body, which is an excellent body. And once we turn to this side, we have like a picture of the figure like in a red wash highlight, and then again the logo. And these again are all on the magnetic flat boxes, which are really nice. And when you open it up, you get a background on the Centurion. Then you have a really nice overlay, like a little flap that they've been doing, and it's a photograph of the actual figure. And this one would be the B version, because it's the one with the red shield, the purple cape, and the silver medallions on the tunic. And so when we take this away, pull this off, you can see the figure and the bubble. And one of the nice things that I've noticed already on this figure that I absolutely love, if you happen to come across the Roman Legionnaire or the Gladiators of Rome, the Versus edition, they all have recently started coming out with these really incredible sandals that ACI has put on these figures. With the Versus, they put the sandals on. With the Roman Legionnaire that came out, we had to build them, and they're a bit complex and a little, they take some time to get them done. With this figure, I noticed they've already put them on for us, which is a huge time saver, and thank God ACI did it, because they have them on the figure and they're perfect. It's kind of like when we're doing it, it's kind of hit and miss, because you've got to lace them up individually. When they're done, they're beautiful, they're stunning looking, but it's really nice that they have already done this. And again, like this one, we've got the brass colored buttons on the tunic. He's got brass shin guards. But we'll get him out and we'll take a closer look. Got a really beautiful helmet. And once we go into the second tray, let's go ahead and pop that out. If I can get it out. On the second tray, that's where you can see where we have our shield, our plume, and it looks like a stick or a staff or something. We'll get into that in a minute. If you notice, this is the same background tray that they used for the Legionnaire. And you might have some like this one does, where you have some empty areas where you don't have something. That doesn't mean it's missing. That just means that they're using this, because like on the Legionnaire, he did not have a plume, so like this area was left open. So don't think if you get one of these and you see something missing, like this is missing where the spear would be for the Legionnaire. That just means they're reusing a mold that they're working with. Okay, so let's go ahead and get him out, and we'll take a look at what we have here. Now our Centurion comes already with a pair of fists, and he also includes 3 other pairs of hands: gripping hands, a pointing finger, a pair of open hands, and another gripping hand. Yeah, and this definitely has a little bit of a Jason Statham feel to the head. Let me see if I can bring him up close. If you see him. Very nicely detailed though. Great paint work. I'm hoping the camera picks it up, because you can even see like the blue highlight detail in the veins and the vessels, and that also continues down into like the arms. You can see the actual veins. Really nice. The tunic has a nice feel to it. You got this incredible detail on the fringes. The medallions look really nice. Again, you have a really well sculpted and molded belt, but these medallions just knock me out the way they're done. A lot of detail, different sculpts on them. Like these have like almost like a flower burst. This has got like a Roman face on it. This one there's got a lion's head on it, and then you even have another, and that's a completely different face sculpt than that one. And again, like I said, we already have those incredible sandals done for us. And again, if you're not familiar with ACI bodies, they're just really well done. I can't comment enough. I use them for a lot of my customs, and not to knock anybody, but if you've seen some of my reviews and things like that, where I've done even some reviews for CM Toys on their 2 different gladiator figures, I ended up changing out their muscle bodies that came with them, those rubber muscle bodies, with ACI bodies, just because they look that much better. Okay, let's see what else we have in the tray. One of the main things that everybody loves about these figures that they've been putting out are these helmets, and this is no exception. It's what we got with the Roman Legionnaire. This one though is in a gold wash or a bronze tone, and again, an incredible amount of detail. It is plastic, but it's painted with that metal wash. You have the flaps that go over. Just stunning. And again, we're going to attach the plume to the top. See, all this little bit of detail, this minute detail, it actually works too. That's what ACI is famous for. Besides the different sculpts that they've come up with, and the materials that they use, it's just incredible. So we'll set that down over here, and we have his dagger. And we have his sword. There's his sword with a scabbard. Again, incredible amount of detail. I don't know if the camera picks up all that. We are doing this in HD, but sometimes it gets lost in the lighting. And we have like little tiny imprints and sculptures here of like warriors on the top of the hilt. Let's see if we can pop it out. There we go. And the blade is metal. Very nicely done. They knock me out with the detail that they just put on these things. It's for the collectibles that you get and like the figures that are out nowadays. I don't think ACI can be beat, especially for like the detail. And again, we have our dagger, and again, this is metal completely from the handle all the way to the blade. And then what we have, the rest in that tray, is all the different hands. Like I said, you get a pair of gripping, a pointing finger, another grabbing hand, and then the two open palms. Alright, we'll move our Centurion over and get into the other part of the tray. And here we have their warning to, if you're going to remove the hands, they suggest that you heat them up, which is a good idea because they use a stronger, tougher vinyl for the hands. It's not real cheap and rubbery. So when you go to pop them off and remove them, it's always best just to heat them up a little bit with a blow dryer, and you can pop them off after heating them up for about 10 or 15 seconds. That's going to save you from breaking the actual pegs at the wrist. Let's see. I'm going to pop this off. And up underneath that shield, we should have a black cape. Now, if this was, like I said, the other version, the version B, then you would have a red plume for the helmet, and you would have a red cape, or not a red cape, I'm sorry, a purple cape. Again, we have our shield. This is the shield we've seen before. They've used this on some of their gladiator figures, but it had different paint decos, and they're just amazing because you have this right here, and again, this is all plastic, and it's a harder plastic, but you have this incredible detail where they paint the metal and it looks like metal. This has got more of a silverish bob right there. You have that great paint deco, and then when you turn it over on the back, you have this incredible wood grain that's sculpted right into the piece, and then the way they paint it, and they do like a brown wash over a different couple of coats, you can actually see the wood grain as it comes out. And they even take the time that you have that metal part right here. Again, like I said, it's plastic, but it's sculpted to be like the metal part where your hand would go to protect it. And they even paint the inside silver so it matches that motif. So they don't spare any amount of time on the details. And that is, it's like a stick, like a walking stick or something that he would wrap somebody along with, his club. We've got the black cape that he comes with, and then the plume for the helmet. And this has got like a little delicate bob right there, so we're going to be careful with that. Really nicely done. So what I'm going to do is, if you give me a few seconds, I'm going to put him together, and I'll finish up this part of the review, and then like all of my other reviews, what we'll do at the very end is I'll have some HD photos for you guys so you can see this stuff up close and personal. So hang on one second and we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we've got our Primus Pilus version put together, and I gotta really say this is probably one of my favorite of their Total Rome, or their Warrior Total Rome edition. The Roman Centurion was really, really nice, but all the little bits and bobs that this guy comes together, it just makes him that much cooler. And really digging the plume on the helmet, and that just slides right in. Of course, the helmet, like I said before, is what we got with the Roman Legionnaire, and I don't know if it's because it's in that bronze wash or whatever. It just looks really, really nice, and especially with a plume. Now the stand that I've got him on, he does not come with. I just put it on for the video. But everything from, like I said, the medallions on the tunic, the red collar. I mean, they even have like undergarments on him too, and it's just really well done. The cape has a wash on it, so it looks like it's been weathered, and kind of has that cottony, like a stiffer cotton feel. It's even got a little medallion on it. I've got one single stitch holding it down just to bring it down further so it's not up on his neck. That way you can still see that red collar that he's got going on in there. And just amazing. The amazing amount of detail that they keep putting out in the quality of ACI's figures. It's definitely worth your collecting dollar. I've went ahead and I strung the helmet because it's got little tiny metal eyelets all the way around the helmet where the string would go through, and he comes with like a do-rag that you can put around the top of the head, which lets the helmet go on without giving you any kind of paint rubs on the sculpt, and it makes it for it's really tight afterwards too, so like that helmet's not going to fall off on your shelf or anything like that. And I've got some pictures at the end of this where you can see the do-rag. Do-rag's simple. Yeah, it's like just a triangle. You fold it over the top of the brow and tie it in the back, and then pull your other pieces through, and then it goes on there tight. Amazing piece. Definitely worthy of anybody's collection that's into like the Roman era or into the gladiators or what have you. It is kind of cool that it is now that you have them up close and personal. You can definitely see that Jason Statham look in the face, especially around the nose and the mouth. But simply a beautiful piece. I couldn't be happier with it. And again, Brian Lowe and company over there at ACI have again made another fine piece for anybody's collection. Anyway, I just wanted to finish up and show you what he looks like all put together, and he's just stunning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have some HD photos at the end, some close-ups of the face, and even like we'll do some close-ups on the medallions on his chest and what have you. So just hang tight. And at the very end, I've had a few questions from people that have asked me, like, well, what do you do with all your ACI products that you get, or do you turn around and sell them? And honest to God, no. We do a lot of reviews here at Marshall Made. We do not just collectible toys and figures and things like that, but we do products. We've done them for everybody from Sears to Walmart to what have you. But out of all those things that we do, the ACI figures, because Marshall Made started out making 1/6 scale collectibles for people, customized pieces, these are pretty much the only things that we hold on to. We just absolutely love them. In fact, we have some Deltoff cabinets that these guys populate, and we absolutely love them here. So at the very end, I'll show you what we have in our ACI collection. So again, thank you for watching, and hang on for some HD photos here at the end. Again, this was Jace for Marshall Made Collectibles, and we thank you for watching.